Hi everyone, it's Four Corners, and today. Hi everyone, it's Four Corners, and today I wanted to talk about Ninjago's mini season titled The Island, named that way because it takes place on an island. Besides the creative name though, and the fact that it's not among my favorite seasons when it comes to personal opinion, I do think it is the most real Ninjago season to ever exist. And that also has to do with why it comes out as underrated in so many people's eyes. So when the season came out in March of 2021, it wasn't what fans were expecting. It got some pretty harsh backlash. A lot of it wasn't on the episodes itself though. It was mainly because of the false expectations surrounding. There were rumors going in that Chief Mamatis could be the Vengestone buyer, and obviously most expected a full season, not 4 episodes. But later it was revealed that this was only a small part to help paint the big picture, that is Seabound, which to our surprise only came out a month after the island's release. And because people initially expected a full season, the unique fast pace the island was notorious for was something that caught people off guard as the plot jumped from monastery to island to keeper village and then finally villain hideout a little too quickly. And that's why you'll hear so many people actually really like the island upon rewatching it, because once you see it without the lens of false expectation, the actual island content ends up being very fun. Its fast pace is also more appreciated upon rewatching because just when you think you're getting bored of seeing the episode a second time, the episode quickly cuts to the next showstopper fight scene or location. And these common changes in perspective, once pretense gets set aside, is what makes this season underrated. The island also sets up the tone it's going for very well with the Uncharted tribal adventure vibe. Honestly, it's not just this season, but Prime Empire sets up an eerie mystery tone to coincide with its 80s theme mystery plot, and Master of the Mountain sets up a very nice medieval tone for its own story. And Seabound captures the emptiness and wonder of the sea. The island also presents some great action. This was the point where fans were starting to get used to WildBrain as their new animation company and beginning to love and anticipate what they did, from water rendering to fight choreography. But with the context and a little extra covered, it's time to answer what it means for the island to be the most real Ninjago season. So the root of this begins in the fast-paced plot that made it so the ninja found and defeated the real culprit, being Ronin, within a time frame of mere minutes. And initially that sounds like a bad thing. Isn't it a bit shallow for the story to be over so quickly without any hurdles or learning moments for our main characters to improve? Especially when the previous 3 episodes were rich in lore, introducing big names like Wojira and the first Spinjitzu master, which falsely led us to expect something even richer for the finale. Well, not exactly when you put what I'm about to say in perspective. Despite the ninja being so trained and experienced, how many instances can you say that the team has gotten rid of a threat as per plan without any setbacks? There's always some character flaw or a fight and fail because the writers have to pad the runtime to match the whole season. But hypothetically, if the ninja were in the real world and not written as a show to fulfill the now 16 episode agenda, there would be instances where the villain was defeated with ease. It wouldn't make for the best season, no doubt about that, but real nonetheless. Hereby introducing the keepers of the amulet to keep the ninja busy for a few episodes, and then reveal that Ronin was the real culprit, stealing this poor tribe's money at the very end. Let the show give us the ninja at their prime, carrying out missions to show off their experience and skill in this field. The whole mission to the island was chock full of pro moments as they navigated the harsh sea and rough terrain with epic catamarans and bikes at a moment's wish thanks to Pixel. When we see the ninja through Twitchy Tim's eyes as they meet for the first time, the ninja looks so experienced with their new suits and style as they swing down the anchor of Destiny's bounty. Just compare that to when the ninja met Twitchy in Crystallized. Very different circumstances, as Crystallized is waiting for the finale to get our ninja back in full steam. I do like the crystallized version better, knowing it's going to have a better payoff later, but seeing the ninja at their prime is such an awe-inspiring thing to watch. Sure, the keepers did capture them, but it never felt like a real obstacle because contrary to LEGO marketing, the keepers were the good guys, just misunderstood. It's almost like the episodes where the ninja had to prove themselves to the Geckles and Munce in Master of the Mountain. These unconventional meetings weren't plot hurdles that devalued the ninja's ability to complete a mission, but instead, again, misunderstandings that sometimes even lead to events that let our team further prove how skilled they are, like Nia beating Queen Martessa relatively easily, or Zane defeating the Mino beast with his smarts. And in the island's case, the ninja shutting down Ronin's operation the second they figure out Wojira's wooden imposter was a con. And while there are mini episodes like shorts that do similar things where the ninja defeat threats easily, this is at a much better scale that we can actually care about. The island does things you can't do with the usual big bads because there's no season if they get defeated so easily. And because of that, we usually never get to see the ninja at their prime, which is an inevitable compromise the writers have to make. The island might be a little fast and a little shallow because it lacks any real conflict or depth in the story, and you really feel that contrast when they go deep into the concept of Wojira and then totally forget that for a shallow villain operation that gets shut down in a second. But it's that flaw that makes the season so real. If they focused on Ronin's scam from the first episode, then the story would have forced Ronin to be an actual obstacle to the ninja. Real isn't always the best in terms of a story for a show, but in a theme like Ninjago that's been running for so long, Real was a good break for once and feels much deserved, as it's nice to see the ninja's experience finally pay off. But that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching this video talking about why the island makes for the most real Ninjago season. I really appreciate you watching till the end. This video did take a while to script as there were so many ideas and it took a while to make sure it made sense from an audience perspective, but I'm very happy with how things turned out and I hope you did too. Comment down below what your favorite scene in the island was, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.